Welcome back to another installment of In Any Arena. If you like our content, give us that CLS treatment, that comment, that like, and subscribe. And again, thank you for watching. Let's get into it.
And while weekend sports, we've seen a team that I think both of us picked to do really well in the AFC West at the beginning of this season. Really disappoint us. I mean, you got Devontae Adams coming over. You got one of the top five running backs in Josh Jacobs, who's running for his life every game. Before we dive into this, yo, it is the giving season. We hope everyone had a great holiday. Dub and I have been giving you guys content baseball, football, basketball, boxing. I don't know. I'm getting tired of naming it all. Listen, we need one thing from you people. If we need anything at all, we need that Mercedes Benz CLS treatment. And what that means is we need you to comment, like, subscribe, when you do that, Dub and I can keep giving you guys more content. We can keep dropping heat. We can keep opining in the comments. We can keep going back and forth. We just got time for everything when you do that. So please give us that treatment. Let's get into it, Dub. So Derek Carr has been having a pretty terrible season. The Raiders, defense and coaching, I would say, are partly responsible for that. But again, they're benching them for the rest of the season. They got 2 games left. They're not going to the playoffs. No chance of that. And I mean, what does this mean? You got a starting quarterback that you're benching, which to me tells me that he's done in Vegas. What are your thoughts about it, Dub? Do you think he's done in Vegas? Do you think this is the right move from the team? Also, we've talked about Josh McDaniels before, but is it time for him to go? Should it have been an in-season fire, or should they
Mhm.
get rid of him at the end of the season? And if he leaves, where do you see Derek Carr going?
Yeah, loaded questions.
As
Everything is
always,
loaded. I'm gonna start with Derek Carr. Um, I think Derek Carr has caused a few costly turnovers, but a lot of those turnovers are not on Derek Carr. I will say that the Raiders are essentially waving the white flag. I mean, you got Jarrett Stidham starting. You're waving the white flag.
I mean,
So
at 6 and 9, though, I mean, you kind of got to weigh the white flag.
waving
Yeah,
you're
I
waving
mean,
the white flag.
you got to. It's
There,
time.
there's been a lot of speculation, and we're starting the buzz here on any arena. Send him to New York to the Jets. I think
Yeah,
he would be a perfect plug-in for the Jets, and then Zach Wilson can go to Oakland and they can pick up a vet and essentially build up Zach Wilson to make him more of a well-rounded professional and player. So he probably can get in the spotlight and potentially be a good starter. I
yep,
think Derek Carr is a very solid quarterback. That's just my humble opinion. I've seen games, I've watched them. Again, guys, Derek Carr is like a tier two, maybe tier three quarterback. He's definitely a top 15 quarterback in the league.
for
So
sure.
I do think that Derek Carr has a lot to offer, and when you put him in the right situation with good coaching, I think he can thrive. So now the Raiders, I think the Raiders and Josh McDaniels, they need to part ways. Josh McDaniels has so many weapons on the offensive side that it's pretty much egregious that they can't score more than 10 points against the damn Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been known for being able to play exceptional defense. Like that's what they call themselves, the steel curtain. You got the terrible towel. Like that's what they're known for. But
Yep.
when you had that type of star power on the offensive side, Brandon Jacobs,
Josh Jacobs. That's
Josh
it.
Jacobs, I'm sorry, Brandon Brandon Jacobs used to play for the darn
Giants.
Giants, right? Big
Yeah.
dude. But you got Josh Jacobs, you got Deontay, yeah, you got you got
Devontae
Deontay,
Adams.
you got Devontae Adams, and then you got De'Aaron Waller. I don't know why I couldn't get the Adams out, bro. I mean, when you had that type of like star power on the offensive side,
Not to
um,
mention who they have on defense.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
got pretty solid defense as well.
like it's just a disservice, man, to the team. And so, with that being said, I think it is a good idea to part ways. And then, hey, listen, there's a lot of good coaches out there, in the free agency market that can be picked up. Rumblings of Sean Payton. I said Sean Payton should go over and coach the darn the
Raiders.
Raiders. Like
Yeah,
that's why I envision. I think he would be a perfect plug in there. If you do that, I think you should hang on to Derek Carr, because he's the quarterback whisperer, and I think he will be great for that team.
for sure.
So there's just a lot of coaches that I think that would be a good asset to the team. And Josh McDaniels, like the proof is in the pudding. He's not a winning coach. He went over to the Broncos as a head coach. He tried to do his thing. He got caught up in cheating, got fired. And so now you have him here in Oakland again, not doing what he needs to do. They're 6-9. They have a pretty good roster, not doing good. So that's just my little synopsis of where I think Derek Carr will possibly go and what they should do with Josh McDaniels. What are your thoughts, JT?
I definitely think you touched on everything. Did a great job with it, man. I definitely think he's done in Vegas. Um,
Okay.
but the crazy thing about the Las Vegas Raiders, formerly the Oakland Raiders, formerly the Los Angeles Raiders, is that sometimes you can be done there and you're not really done. They bring you back. So in my mind, it's done, but who knows what they do in the offseason. I've seen wackier things. So perhaps he suits up in the silver and black next fall. Who knows? I agree that I feel like the New York Jets would be a good move. I think he would be a good quarterback for the Jets. They got a lot of great young receivers that I think he would play well with. And they got a stout defense. So the Jets should really be in a position where they should be jostling for a top seed in
Definitely
the
should make a
playoffs.
push.
They should
Definitely
not
should make a
be
push for him.
they should not be in the position they're in right now. But when you got the wrong leader at the helm, things like that happen. So the Jets should definitely be in a better position, and he would put them in a position where they would be a playoff contender immediately. I also think it wouldn't be a bad situation if we saw a car, cars in CARR, on a reminiscent of a blue and red jersey that we saw one on before, and him possibly going to Houston. So for those of our subscribers that are a little younger who don't know, Derek Carr has an older brother, David Carr, that played for the Houston Texans right after the yeah, we won't go into that too much, but played for the Houston Texans right after that franchise was started. I don't think it would be a bad move to have Derek Carr in Houston. I think that again, he would be a good quarterback. You got the right pieces around him. He'll be able to play and compete. And in their division, I think their division is always, ever since Peyton Manning left the Colts, their division is always up in the air every year. You don't know if it'll be the Titans. This year, the Titans and the Jaguars playing Week 18. That'll decide who wins the division. Um, it's always wide open. So you put Derek Carr there. The Colts are kind of in disarray. Who knows who'll be a quarterback for them? The Jaguars have a good young quarterback. And Tennessee, their quarterback situation is kind of up in the air as well. Ryan Tannehill's hurt again. Malik Willis is their quarterback of the future. Spent the high draft pick on him. So who knows? You put a stable quarterback like Derek Carr in Houston, put some pieces around it in this post Deshaun Watson era, and maybe that's just what the Houston Texans need. So those are two places I could see him: Houston or the Jets. As far as whether or not McDaniels needs to go, I think he should have been gone, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know why he's getting the benefit of the doubt in terms of being able to finish the season. And again, so many wacky things have happened within that franchise. Maybe he won't be gone after this season at all either. But, based on the roster they have, based on the players they have, I just think there's a lot more that this offense should have been doing with those players. I think there's a lot more creativity that could have went into the play calling, And from week to week, I just didn't see a lot when it came to the Raiders just coming out prepared and coming out really, taking as many big shots as they should have. You got Devontae Adams, dude. Like, I don't know exactly what the game plan has been, and I mean, I just got to pull it up because off the top of my head, I don't really know what his numbers look like this year.
His
Um,
numbers are pretty. His numbers are pretty good. They're on par from what they
yeah,
traditionally are. I mean,
1290,
yeah,
88, 88
the 12
catches,
touchdowns.
12 touchdowns.
The
They're good.
I think the
Definitely.
problem is Darren
Mhm.
Waller was, I think, injured, possibly injured for a few
Yeah,
weeks, like 5 or 6 weeks. So that could have impacted the game plan as well. But still, like there's still a lot of talent on that team.
right.
Still a
And when
lot of
you look
talent.
at it, you would initially think that maybe this is a career season um, for Devontae Adams. In some ways, it possibly could be. The season's not over with. He could set his career high in receiving yards over these next two games, depending on how Jared Stidham plays. I mean, I believe he only needs like 260 over the next 2 weeks to do that. So he might have his career high in yards, possibly there. But this is a guy who scored 18 touchdowns just 2 years ago with the Packers. This is also a guy that over the past 2 years for the Packers averaged 118 catches. So at 88 catches, that tells me that had he had the same amount of targets and receptions this year for the Raiders that he did in the previous couple of years with the Packers, I mean, we could be looking at a season where he's on pace, the same pace that Justin Jefferson is on. So that goes back to what I'm saying around the game planning and whether or not they're calling the right plays that put their team in position to win games and to utilize their players the best way. And that falls back on coaching and Josh McDaniels ultimately. So yeah, I think he should have been gone at this point. Again, I would like to see Derek Carr in Houston or here in New York playing for the Jets. There's even a possibility, Daniel Jones has been on a short leash. Maybe there's a trade that happens where Daniel Jones goes to the Raiders and Derek Carr comes to the Giants. And I actually think that wouldn't be bad for either team to make that move. That gives Daniel Jones a fresh start, a lot less pressure being in Vegas versus
Some
being in New York.
weapons. Some
He's got
weapons.
some weapons, and Derek Carr will have the same on this end with Saquon Barkley. Hopefully, you got Sterling Shepard coming back off an injury,
Another weapon.
and I mean the Giants should be able to pick up some more players in the draft or sign some free agents to put around Derek Carr should that happen. But we'll see. You never know. Again, uh, tough situation that we're seeing in Vegas right now, how it's playing out. I did see Devontae Adams tweet in support of Derek Carr and being a leader, showing up, and him saying this wasn't a mistake, him coming to Vegas. So that was good to see, two guys that played in college together and him just supporting him, kind of, where he is in his journey right now. But it's yet to be seen what happened in Vegas. One thing we know for all those Vegas fans that might be on the channel right now, we know y'all ain't in the playoffs. And I'm gonna remind you of that right now. So, get ready, get your popcorn ready to watch the AFC and watch whoever else makes it. It just is what it is. Maybe next year. We'll put a bow on this. Yo, as always, man, Dub and I have been giving to y'all as much as we can with the content. We need one thing for y'all to give us that CLS treatment. That's that comment, like, and subscribe. And we'll keep dropping the heat on in the arena. Till next time.
Peace.